Hello, welcome guys. It's me, Dakota Fisherman, and today I've got some information to kind of show you. So today I wanted to go over kind of a couple of different attack builds that are in the game. Now, provided when I say attack builds, I'm really specifically going to be referring to not just attacks, but also defense. So this is going to be kind of a comprehensive, all across the board guide. Now, that said, I do have a video, if you want to check it out, which is basically going to cover everything in the game as far as statistics on gear, hero abilities, so feel free to check that out because I do occasionally update that. Not regularly, but I try to keep it updated. That said, the first build that a lot of people use in, Lost Crusade is a dodge build. Now, if you don't know what a dodge build is, it's basically when you go around and let's say you are attacking someone. Now, provided I'm not going to solo anyone right away, but I'm just going to show you. So what you do is you would click on this and, well, okay. Obviously, need a better example here, but it's fine. Not a big deal. Well, all right. Let me just do it this way then. So, Okay. Well, let me show you then. So basically what you would do is you would pick about one of every unit type. You know, you can have one or you could do 10. It doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot, but if you do 10, at least it'll have enough chances to proc. But the idea is that basically when you send an attack, you would send dodge heroes, namely Ernica, Shrike, Vex even. You could use Vex, you could use Cordis. My personal favorite is I like using Cordis alongside using Ernica, and in this case, my Shrike. But it'll be different depending on what you have available to you, and obviously the dodge percentage or the skill level is going to be very, very important here, because the higher that chance is, the more likely it is to proc. Now, when you actually abuse the dodge ability, you're going to basically put a bunch of troops. Usually I would do like 10 of each, and then I'll pick one troop type that I plan on basically slamming the hell out of you with. So that could be Primaris, that could be Vanguards, that could be Whirlwinds, and that could be Dreadnoughts, that could be Predators. Ultimately, I think a lot of people like using a lot of Whirlwinds, or they'll do a lot of Primaris. I see a lot more Primaris than I do see Whirlwinds if you're going to do a Cordis, Ernica, and Shrike mix, but it really just depends on what you're wanting to focus on. Obviously, if you're going to be attacking somebody that has a stupid amount of Dreadnoughts, then it might not hurt to send a lot of Vanguards with a dodge build in the beginning, but work your way up to... And now, when I say a lot of troops, usually that's a T8, T9, T7. It's the higher tier units. Okay? I don't see a whole lot of people sending a stupid amount of T1s. Obviously, the point being is that you're going to have those 10 troops, and all those different troop types, mind you, is per tier. So you're going to have 10 T1, 10 T2, 10 T3 of every single troop type. So that'll be for Predators, that'll be for Whirlwinds, and so forth. And that's essentially what a dodge build aims to go for, is to proc that dodge ability as many times as it possibly can, so that you get the most amount of damage you can possible. Now, something else you can do is when you're wanting to defend, you can actually basically pick yourself a handful of rebound heroes, or you could throw in a counterattack hero if you want. In my case, I'm using Garrison and I'm using Elastor, but some of the best combinations right now are going to be people that are running Elastor and Castor for rebound. I like Garrison since I've got him, but obviously, you get the point. Obviously, the higher the tier of the skill and the higher tier of the hero is going to be very, very important, because you're wanting to focus on increasing the rebound, so that way you're able to do as much damage to your enemy as they're attacking you, because as they attack, it's going to rebound that damage back, meaning if you have a lot of T1s, it's going to rebound a lot of that damage back on them. Now, if you throw in a counterattack hero in here, that's mostly just so that if somebody is using dodge, that counterattack will occasionally proc, which therefore causes the the dodge to get kind of nullified in a sense. And that's kind of the goal in that particular, why I have it there. Now I could just have Elastor, Castor, and Garrodon, and there's really nothing wrong with that either. So it's just a matter of really preference. Now, when we're talking attacks, you can also increase your passive damage. So what you could do is when you're attacking players, you could, if you wanted to, focus on, say, all troop attack. So attacker's attack is 30-some% with strike, and maybe I want to pair that with attacker's defense, or maybe I just want to focus on all vanguard attack, so I'll focus all my damage into vanguard, or all my damage into Primaris, and so forth. But it's probably noteworthy of knowing that, like, the Sanguiner, Enjal, and then Pharos are the only 3 heroes right now that I know of that are doing 2-type bonuses, meaning that you're going to get not 1 but 2 unit types that they're going to benefit at the same time. Sanguiner is the only hero that's actually going to have Vanguard and Primaris attack. He's the only 2-type attack hero. That said, the one thing that some people have asked is what this chapter combo attack does, and I'm pretty sure what that does is it causes it to basically, if you're going to get a second attack in if you're in the Blood Angels chapter. That's essentially what that does. Now, something else is, you can, if you want to, focus on, like, mass debuff. So you could pick Maya, Cronus, and Ernica and get mass debuff, and you'd be able to, in a sense, increase the damage that they could possibly take. Which I think in that strategy, your main focus in that method is that you're wanting to basically make it easier to attack them, or weaken them for that matter. That might work really, really well with, like, any number of heroes, but how effective it is questionable. But any of those percent type bonuses are great in rallies, because we know that anything that does a chance to do damage is generally going to do better than, say, the ones that increase damage. That said, of course, you can't always focus on, say, if you're doing passive damage, if you're doing counterattack, you can do stuns, which you can do with Calgar, and then you can also do it with Corsaro. And the strategy would be almost identical to what a dodge build does, which is to say that you're basically going to put T1s through T9s and put 10 units of each, and then they're just going to constantly stun, because they're going to proc as many times as they can. Same principles, same philosophy. That's what a stun build would do, but it's a little bit more expensive because you're going to have to get Calgar and Corsaro upgraded, which not a lot of people have access to. Beyond that, I mean, I know that you could also do a speed build. Now, a speed build, what you would be doing is you'd be focusing on Telion and Tycho by increasing your attack speed and decreasing your enemy's attack speed, and doing as much damage as you possibly can. Sanguiner would be pretty useful in this regard, because I know Sanguiner happens to have an increase to attack speed, which, if you were the Blood Angels, I would think running Sanguiner, Telion, and Tycho would be pretty effective for that purpose, because you're basically going to get a fair amount of attack damage there that you could take advantage with Predators. You could take it with Primaris. I think it would work well with Primaris, but even in those strategies, that's what you would be aiming to do with that particular method. Obviously, I would think that there's probably some different ways to go about this, because if, let's say you do defense on, say, on your base, you could probably go for mass debuff removals. I don't think this is as effective, but it is technically out there. Like, there are a couple of heroes, whether that be Dreamus. Let's see, I think, if I remember right, yeah, there is an increase to crit damage that you could focus on, which that's that's a strategy. I mean, I could see increasing crit damage being handy, but that's a little niche in a way. Because, mark target is a chance to increase damage dealt. Like, that might come in handy. It's a little different, obviously, but anything with a percent chance is pretty useful in rallies. If you're just joining the rally as a support. let's see, what else? Yeah, there's remove a chance to debuff a Praetus. So you would have Praetus, Adremus. Who else? I'm trying to think. I know there's someone else that has this. I'm trying to remember what Engel has. He has decrease enemy attack speed, and he's got increased damage deals. And then Pharos has got a chance to reduce damage taken, increased damage deals, reduction. I know one of these heroes does what I'm thinking of. I think it might be Arnica. Is it debuff? No, that's not it. I know there is. It's not Seth. Because we know Seth increases accuracy, which just reduces the enemy's dodge rate, which might come in handy, but there's not very many, if any, heroes that do that. Let's see. Of course, we haven't seen Agatone yet, so I'm not 100%. Obviously, I haven't seen Agatone, so anybody watching, that's just something to be clear on, because I know there are other heroes, probably by the time this video is open, that I probably haven't mentioned. That said, yeah, those are like a handful of the strategies that people are using, but I just thought I'd go ahead and kind of sprinkle them out there. Of course, if you want like a little bit more information on hero gear, heroes, or anything like that, do check out the video that I have next up for you, because that is going to show you the spreadsheet I have on Google, and you can take a copy of it and then kind of use that as a resource should you ever need to know what gear you want to put on your heroes and what hero combinations and builds and such that I've discussed in this video. So, that said, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you like Lost Crusade, and, well, share it with friends. See ya!